Hello and welcome inside another episode of the Sherwood Park Crusaders, a pregame show. My name is Zach Marks, bringing you this one from Centerfire Place here in Fort McMurray, Alberta, where in just a few hours' time, the Sherwood Park Crusaders will take on the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. Now Sherwood Park enters tonight's matchup 1 point up on the Oil Barons for 4th place in the North Division, entering with a 19-14 3-1 record compared to the Oil Barons' 19-15 3-0 record. Both teams playing 37 games so far this season. They'll play 38 and 39 against each other here this weekend in a 2-game set that could go a long way to determining who finishes above the other moving forward towards the postseason. As Sherwood Park looks to continue the momentum they gathered against Camrose on Sunday. Now this is a big one for Sherwood Park, 3-3 this weekend, their final 3-3 of the season. 2 games here in Fort McMurray before closing out the weekend in Bonnyville. That'll be a 2 o'clock puck drop against the Pontiacs, but Sherwood Park did decide to make a move at the Jan 10 trade deadline, acquiring Noah Wills from the Melville Millionaires. Expect him to be inserted into the lineup here this evening to make his Crusaders debut. Sherwood Park also gets Cade Christensen back after he served a 2-game suspension for a check from behind in the win over Drayton Valley, as the Crusaders defenseman this morning ranked 198 in North American Central Scouting. Now on the other side, Fort McMurray made a move as well, acquiring Liam Hughes and sending Nick DeBurs out. Liam Hughes joining the Oil Barons, now his 5th team here in the AJHL after since in Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, Brooks, and Olds. He now joins the Fort McMurray side, looking to add some offensive punch moving forward in this season. Now these two teams have had a pair of solid battles, a 4-2 win for the Oil Barons right here at Centerfire Place back on December 3rd, before Sherwood Park bounced back with a 5-4 overtime win over the Oil Barons to close out the pre-Christmas schedule back on December 17th. Sherwood Park entered the 3rd period down by a score of 3-1 before firing back 3 quick goals to start the 3rd. They would eventually tie it up with the Oil Barons to force overtime, but Luke Lisco's overtime winner proved to be the difference, as these two teams now even in the season series. Bill Fort McMurray with 1 extra point coming in against Sherwood Park so far this year. Now let's head to the pregame interview with head coach Evan McFeeters on how he felt his team performed against Camrose on Sunday and what to expect from the newly acquired Noah Wills here tonight. Joined now on the Crusaders pregame show by head coach Evan McFeeters. Evan, last time out, a 5-1 win over the Camrose Kodiaks. How big was that performance for your group?
Yeah, we're starting to string together some pretty good performances here, Zach. Tonight's an important game for us. Our guys are excited. Obviously, everyone knows what's going on in the standings here down the stretch. So back in Fort McMurray, a building we need to learn how to win in. And I think for our group, it's been a whole week of preparation for this one and our 3-3 weekend. But tonight, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, our whole focus is on the 2 points tonight.
You start with 2 games here in Fort McMurray this weekend before Bonnyville on Sunday. But looking at tonight's matchup, how do you think your team matches up with Fort McMurray?
Yeah, I think we're obviously we match up fairly evenly. If you look at the standings, I think that tells a story right there. So this is a game that could be meaningful down the stretch for home ice advantage and then placement going into the playoff round here. So like I mentioned before, this one's been circled on our calendar for quite some time, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We understand it's a 3-3 weekend, but that's junior hockey, and we got to take care of business in the first one.
You get Cade Christensen back into the lineup, ranked 198 North American Central Scouting this morning. How big is it getting a player like him back into the lineup?
Well, first off, for Cade, that's a great accomplishment. There's only so many players in that berth year, or that peer group, that get named to that list that have that sort of recognition. So he's had a great season for us, and obviously important player for our back end. Getting his minutes back up because he is important on a penalty kill and 5-on-5 and shutting down the opposition. So we're excited, but he's a piece of the puzzle here, and it's nice just to get a bigger piece back.
New acquisition in the lineup here tonight, Noah Wills, acquired from the Melville Millionaires at the trade deadline. What do you expect him to bring to the lineup?
Energy first and foremost, some skill, passion. He's full of second effort. He's full of, enthusiasm. He's got good skill. He's a 50-point guy last year in the SJ. He's on pace for 50 this year. We're going to give him a good look in our top half of the lineup, give him some ozone starts and just let him play. He's only been with us here for about 24 hours, making the trip across the country. So we're excited to get him. It was a player that we had our eyes on for quite some time, and we were able to get our guy, and we're excited for him to join us here, not just for the stretch run this season, but to add him to our core moving forward.
All right, thanks for this, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Zach.